What's up, man? Patrick James here, and in this video, we're gonna be talking about texting women, especially women who have gone cold on you. I'm also gonna give you 3 texts to never send to girls if you actually want to hook up with her and date her for as long as you want. And then I'm also going to answer a question based on this exact topic, texting women. So cue that intro.
Okay.
Alright, man, so the whole topic of this video revolves around this one question that a guy submitted to me on Instagram, and this guy's name is Day in the Life of Jay, so go follow him. So anyways, he said, "First things first, love your videos, man. I just realized you're also in Arizona, so I'd love to connect with you sometime. But I reached out to you because I have a scenario that I'm having a little trouble trying to figure out and how to handle properly / proficiently." Now, this is a little bit of a long question, but stick around because the answer is going to be well worth your time. So, I recently met a girl only probably 3 weeks ago now, and we had an amazing conversation over the course of 2 days. She mentioned she loved wine, so I invited her out for a couple glasses. We met up in downtown Tempe, and everything went better than expected. Took some of your advice and ended up hooking up with her that same night. Awesome, man. Take action, you get results. It's how it works around here on Raw Dating Advice. Then he said, but before that happened, she told me she had something to tell me that night that upset me, and then she informs me that she had been talking to this guy for about a year now, aka she essentially has a boyfriend she doesn't want to claim. Now, since then, we've texted back and forth, hung out once more, and she's met some of my friends. But texting is pretty dry, although I try to keep it fun. And yesterday I got no response, so today I waited all day and then I texted her, ... everything okay, ? And this is where the 3 deadly texts that you never send come in. But let me finish reading the question first. He said, and lo and behold, I got a message back and we've been talking since. Now my dilemma here is this. Do I just stop pursuing her cold turkey? Do I tell her that I don't want to get in between what she has going on and that I think I should just discontinue talking to her? Or do I keep playing the game? There's obvious attraction on both ends, and she openly admits that the guy she's with doesn't really compare to me and that I'm pretty much what she's been looking for. But texting is like pulling teeth, and she doesn't really flirt through text. Yet in person, we're making out like college kids. Mind you, she's 31 and I'm 27, so I guess that may play a factor, but if you have the time, I'd love to hear what you think, man. Keep doing what you do, and I'll keep tuning in. Alright, man, Day in the Life of Jay. Long question, great question, because it gives me a lot to work with. I'm going to deliver a lot of value on this question, so buckle up, my man. So the first thing I want to talk about is your text to her when she didn't respond, because if a girl's not responding to you, the last thing you want to do is send her any one of these 3 texts, and that is, one of them is what you said, ... is everything okay? That's one. The second one is, are you mad? ? And then the third one is, hey, did you get my last text, right? All those are basically like you double texting or you texting because she didn't respond, and now what's happening is you are chasing her over text. And this is something that we don't really talk about a whole lot when it comes to texting women, especially women that you're interested in dating, is that texting, because there's no vocal tonality, because she can't see you face to face, it's a completely different vibe. It's almost like there's 2 different identities, 2 different impressions that she has of you. And like in your situation, if the impression of you and her in person is amazing, what can fuck it up for you is her impression of you over text. It's a separate identity. It's a separate box that she has of you in her head. So if this impression of you over text is very low value, but in person it's great, you can still mess it up, because what is this? This is the means to seeing her in person. This is the vehicle to get her to meet up with you, right? So you got to get this right as well. So like I said, don't send any of those 3 deadly texts that I just let you know. However, in my experience, if a woman is bad at texting, right, it's not necessarily reflective on her interest in you or her life situation. A lot of it has to do with just the way people are, because myself, I'm terrible at texting. Why? Because I'm so busy working on my computer, right, that I don't value my time that I spend on my phone. Most of the time, I'm not looking at my phone. Most of the time, my phone is in airplane mode, especially if I'm grinding, editing videos, writing sales letters, writing books. You know what I'm saying? So that's just where I'm coming from, and I know a lot of women, especially older women who have a lot of things going on. And when I say older, that's like a relative term. Older than me, I'm 28, right? This girl's 31. That's not old. But some girls just happen to be bad at texting, and that's a fact that you got to accept. And if and the sign here is that she's really amazingly attracted to you in person, but over text it's a completely separate thing, right? So don't assume negative things. Always assume positive things. Always assume that she's into you and it's going to be on as long as you see her in person. So what's the solution here? Well, in my experience, going out approaching thousands and thousands of women, if a girl happens to be bad at texting back, maybe she responds 3-4 hours later and it's not reflective on how she treats you in person, and maybe she just doesn't text back sometimes. That's fine. Those girls always tend to be, at least in my experience, really good at responding on social media, specifically Snapchat or Instagram DMs. And here's why. Because texting is like this whole big thing, right? There's hundreds, if not thousands of videos on the internet about texting. It's like, it's a part of dating for sure. However, social media is relatively new to the dating scene. When a girl posts something on her Snapchat story and you respond with like a quick comment back, right? One, she's already interested because you're responding something that's relative to what she said, right? It has context around it rather than a random text you send her. So it's easier for her to respond because it's over social media. That's one. Two, it's a separate box in her head. Just like her impression of you in person is separate from her impression of you over text, social media is a separate box in her head from texting over her phone. Why is this? Because if she goes out and she's an in-demand girl, she's good looking, she's got a lot of things going on in her life, and other guys are pursuing her, how are they pursuing her? Most likely, they're also pursuing her over text. I tell this story all the time, right? One of the girls that I used to go out with all the time, who was like basically a wing woman of mine, she would have up to 20 guys texting her at once, pursuing her for sex, trying to get her out on dates, doing all those things that women experience with guys who are chasing them over text, right? But over social media, completely different story. So for you, and in this situation, right, do you want to be one of the 30 guys pursuing her over text and be in that box in her head? Or do you want to be one of like the 1 or 2 guys who's responding to her Instagram and Snapchat stories, who's DMing her and having the same exact conversation that you'd have over text, but over here on social media, right? Or do you want to be in a category of 1, or do you want to be in a category of 30? Let me just ask you now, right? So in my experience, if a girl's really bad at responding to you or getting back to you over text, try it over social media, and most likely it's a completely different story, especially if this girl's super attracted to you in person. So that's the first thing, my first thoughts here. Second thought, you asked, should you just stop pursuing this girl altogether? Should you let her flesh it out with this other dude who she's kind of talking to right now? No, absolutely not. You guys have chemistry, and at the end of the day, she's down to hang out with you. It's just, as you said, it's like pulling teeth trying to get her to respond over text. So I would not even worry about this. This shouldn't even be a thought, her and the other guys she's seeing, right? Why is that? Because if you're the guy who's constantly focusing on the quote unquote competition, for lack of a better term, then you're like that guy who was always losing to Michael Phelps in the Olympics, and he was just staring at Michael Phelps who's 2 feet ahead of him, right? You don't want to be the guy who's looking at your competition. You want to be the guy who's going on your own path, doing what you want to do in life, and vibing with the women that you vibe with, and letting all the other guys worry about you, right? It's a completely different thing, but you're putting yourself on top and you're letting her follow your lead. Do you see what I'm saying here, right? So no, you shouldn't stop pursuing this girl. You shouldn't stop exploring this chemistry that you have with this girl just because she has other men that she may or may not be talking to. In reality, if you are a guy who's also taking action on a lot of the advice that we give on this channel, you should also be in a very similar situation. You should also have your options open, especially if you guys are not in an exclusive relationship. You should be the guy who, if you like one girl and you do want to start dating her long term, it's because you chose her from a place of abundance, because you were dating 8 women women and you chose the one you like the best, rather than this is your only option and she just happens to be really fucking dope, right? You should be in the position that she's in, and when you put yourself in that position, now she's the one wondering if you're interested in her. Now she's the one wondering where does she stand amongst the competition that you have with the women that you're also seeing, right? And especially if she's already doing that, you should not feel bad about dating other women but also dating her at the same time, because it seems like she's already been doing that to you. So on that note, yes, I recommend that you definitely should keep exploring this dating partnership, relationship, whatever you want to call it, between you and this girl. And two, if she's bad at texting, most likely she's gonna be good at responding to Snapchat or Instagram DMs, just in my experience. And then three, don't ever send those 3 deadly texts I gave you. And if you like this video and you're not the person who sent in this question, or if you have any other questions in the future, leave a comment below or DM me on Instagram. I'm really good at getting back or just reading the questions that you guys submit on Instagram as well. So give me a thumbs up on this video if you like this information. Leave a comment below with any experiences that you've had similar to this, and I will see you in the next video, my man. Peace out.
Okay.